I did mention to you guys once that there was a bomb in my plane before, right? Right? I did mention, but I didn't say any details, I think. So we're just gonna brush past that now. Yes, yes. Refuses to elaborate. Please elaborate. Please talk about the bomb. Eh, you wanted me to talk about myself? No, I don't think I should elaborate. No, I'm not sure. It might even be fine, but I'll tell you a different story. Remember a long time ago, in one of the first whole myth streams?
Which one of these was one of Kiara's previous life's jobs? A. Flight attendant. B. Idol. C. Fitness trainer.
I know.
Do you really know?
Yes.
Are you sure you know?
Yes.
The answer is... all of them!
Okay. Now listen to me. Listen to me. That is not what we agreed upon.
Of course not. I bamboozled you from the beginning. I was planning this all along.
No one was going to guess that.
I know, that's the thing.
I said back then that I was in my previous lives a flight attendant, right? I never elaborated on that, did I? Well. I want to tell you about the whole process of the audition. It was at a time where I was going to school, and in school they let me and my gen mates know that there is going to be an open audition for a very big airline, and that the interview would be in the city and we could go there and try our best if we want that job. I honestly didn't really think I would make it. So anyway, the big interview was happening and I was wearing my lucky dress. I have a lucky dress that up until then brought me good luck. At least once. Normally I don't believe in these kind of things, but that dress, while making me look like fire, it also brings me luck. Okay, so this thing was really interesting because it was like a huge event. They like really advertised a lot about it, and so many people went there. My friends from school, they met up before me. They kind of went in a group and I joined in a little bit later. I was kind of alone. Yeah, none of them really made it very far. There was like 3 rounds or so. I think the first thing was basically giving them your basic information and they would decide whether or not you would just make it through the first cut. And apparently I did. There were like so many people and I was able to go up to the 2nd floor. And the 2nd floor was where like everyone was who made it through the first round. It was kind of weird because the people who were there, because everyone was like looking so social and handsome. They all looked like they were very intelligent and they were all very tall and beautiful, very fancy looking people. Wait a second. And also mixed in between all the participants was also they picked some stewardesses from the airline, and I don't know, they all looked like supermodels. They had like perfect makeup, perfect hair, perfect everything. They were tall and slim. They looked gorgeous, the stewardesses, and they were kind of like there to calm down all the participants and give them advice and stuff, and they all just had the chit chat and were getting along so well, while I just felt so out of place. Like I think I was mostly quiet. So everyone was basically waiting their turn because I think there were like solo interviews after that. that. And then I guess there was like a roleplay thingy. I was really nervous about it, and I really didn't think I could make it. I don't remember the interview part, but I remember the acting part. And by the time that I was the time that it was my turn for the acting part, it was like a they wanted to see how you would act in certain situations. So they would be like, okay, you are the flight attendant now, and I am the guest in the middle of a flight, and they would like recreate difficult situations. Just with like talking, nothing really besides that. And they wanted to see how you would handle it with your speech and with your mannerisms and stuff. And there were like 2 different situations. I think one of the situations that I got was a passenger sitting next to a family with a baby, and that passenger was really pissed off that the baby was so loud, but we couldn't change their seats because the flight was fully booked, so that wasn't really an option. And so I offered, I think my first try was I offered them headphones to listen to music and to the movies, because I really blacked out. I didn't know what else to do. And they acted really like a Karen, like it's like a really difficult passenger. And they were not happy with my suggestion of just using the headphones. So I really couldn't come up with anything else. I tried, but the passenger was like, nope, this is unbelievable. I can't. I'm exhausted. I don't want to deal with this. This sucks. Yeah, and yeah, as I said, I really didn't know what to do. So then the dude who was interviewing me, he kind of gave up on me, and he was like, all right, I'll help you. So the solution to this would have been to find someone to switch seats with, I guess. And then there was a second situation, and I don't quite remember that one, but I also kind of failed that one. But I think he liked the way I stayed still very polite and eager to learn, you know? So I think I was forgiven for not finding the right solution. And I think he also understood that I was freaking nervous. So I left the room, and he was like, just wait until they call your name and decide your fate. I swear. First, they were like, in this whole building, there were like at least 200 participants. And by the time I was done with this acting roleplay thingy, which was the last thing we had to do, it was only me and maybe one more person left who were still waiting on their result. Not because only we made it, but because some people made it earlier throughout the day. This was like throughout the whole day, maybe 6-7 hours. But I don't think many people made it. So whoever made it was then brought to another room, shown like a inspirational movie and so on, and then they were sent home and be like, I will contact you later, thank you for participating. But besides that, also a lot of people were sent home. So around the end, it was like me, maybe another rando, and 10 or 15 really pretty stewardesses. And they were having a chat with me because there was no one left. And they were trying to help me deal with my nervosity. So, actually, at some point, finally, someone came up to me and said, Kiara, you made it. You made it into one of the most prestigious and popular airlines. And honestly, for me, that was such an accomplishment, because otherwise, like, my plans would have been very different. I thought this was a huge upgrade to my original plans. And I was also so proud because, you know, my friends didn't make it. No one made it except me. I was the only one in my school who made it through that interview. And I was like, bye-bye, fuckers. After I'm done with school, I'm going to work for this airline. And it's kind of a dream job. Because I saw it also as a way of me getting to Japan regularly. Because I told them, obviously, that I can speak 3 languages, German, English, and Japanese. And I was hoping that they would use me for long-distance flights to Japan, you know? Which I think is just an obvious thing to do. And they said, yeah, definitely that's possible. But you kind of start out with doing short-distance flights. But anyway, after they told me that I made it, they brought me into a different room where they showed me this really inspirational movie of, yeah, you're now team of our airline. Congratulations. You're gonna do this and that. You're gonna travel to these places and you're gonna inspire people, blah, blah, blah. It was like so much. It was like very dramatic. I felt like I was in a movie and I just won a huge prize or something. But honestly, it's a fucking dream job for a lot of people, I think. Yeah, and I was so happy. I was crying. I was so proud of myself for making something that, once again, it seemed impossible at first. And I had to actually, for that, I had to move to a different country / different city. Yeah, I prepared all sort of things. I still had some time. I had to get some stuff done, like some very specific vaccination. And I had to do this doctor's appointment from the airline. Now, I am currently... I haven't measured myself in a while, but as far as I know, I am 1.64 meters. But back then, you know, school time, Kiara was a little bit smaller. Only a little bit. And I think that, you know, every airline, obviously, they have like a minimum of height that you need to have. And I don't quite remember what it was for this airline at that time. But I remember that I was really unsure about it because in my passport, it said a certain size. I was missing like 1 or 2 centimeters. And my mom and me, we were discussing how we could gain 1 or 2 centimeters to make sure that when they measure me, that I would make it. I was even thinking about putting some kind of sole into my shoe, but like, yeah, like an insole, but like something like maybe out of silicone in a skin color, so that even if I would have to take off my socks, they wouldn't notice, you know? I was hoping for that. And I was really worried about that. But turns out it was all good. I was the exact perfect... No, I think I was even half a centimeter above what they were asking for. Yeah, so I was really relieved about that. That was the thing I was most worried about, my fucking height. And then there was I think there was a breathing thingy test, which the doctor was very confused about why I was doing so badly. We tried again and again, and then at some point she just gave up on me. She probably thought I was just doing it wrong. Maybe I was just doing it wrong, but you know, when you blow into some kind of device, yeah, which is another reason why I feel like maybe I do have asthma. I don't know. My lung capacity is really bad. Long story short, I made it into an amazing airline. I'm just gonna say and end this story by saying it didn't last long for very stupid reasons. But the fact that I made it made me so proud of myself. Then I had to change my plans, and then I moved city, and I got back to a normal job, and I thought, you know, wow, okay, life is boring now. I had this dream job. I was grasping it in my hands. And then, yeah, I had to go back to normal life. It felt like I was in a dream, and then the dream was over, and back to real life, you know. And I moved to a different city. I lived with a stupid ass roommate. I was broke, and I started this new job. But then I had this was the job before going to Japan and before joining Hololive. Well, I kind of just accepted the fact that I failed this for a different reason. Not because I wasn't good enough. I was definitely good enough, and I was really proud of that. And I was somehow hoping that maybe I could try again at some point, maybe for a different airline. But then whole life came into my life, and it was not necessary anymore to try for that. Although, I do sometimes wonder how my life would have went if I would have really like continued working for that airline. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like a exhausting but fun job. Who knows? Maybe it's not too late. Maybe I could try again. But I mean, with this current job, it would never work. But if I ever have to move on from what I have now, I'm not gonna say the word. Then maybe I'll give it a try. Maybe I'll give it a try again. Because I do like the thought of that a lot. And it's definitely, again, something that I can do because of who I am. That requires a special skill set, right? So my languages and the education that I've received and the character that I have, my personality and stuff. I know how to deal with these kind of things, even though I failed the roleplay. Actually, I can actually tell you the reason why it didn't really work out in the end, because actually you already know part of it. Ow, what the fuck? Give me a moment. Well, the thing is, I kind of ruined it by myself, you know? That's why I regret it even more. It was kind of unnecessary, but so I went to this doctor's test when things were already decided. I already signed my contract and I already got my apartment in that different country and so on. I was prepped and all that, and just had to do that doctor's appointment. And I was told that they were gonna do a blood test, and I was worried, you know, because I told you guys that I have fibromyalgia, or at least you would think that I have it. Who knows? Maybe I have something else. We don't know for sure. Back then, I was trying to figure out how to fix it, how to deal with it, and one of the things that we tried is a doctor prescribed me an antidepressant for fibromyalgia, because apparently that's maybe helps some people. And I was thinking, if they see that I've been taking that in my blood, then they might question me why I'm taking it. And either way, if they think I take it because of depression, then they probably don't want me. But if I say it's because of the fibromyalgia, then that would probably also be a reason to turn me down. Because, like, I know that I can handle it. I've lived with it for my whole life, and I can totally live normally with it. But I figured that if they would know, that they wouldn't want me. And turns out I was right. But I didn't want them to find out through my blood. Actually, turns out they couldn't have found out through my blood, because it doesn't show up. At least not with a simple, basic blood test like that. But I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to, you know, explain myself afterwards. So I did tell the doctor that I supposedly have fibromyalgia. And that was the reason why they didn't turn me down at the spot there. They were like, okay, the test is over. We will let you know for a letter later on if you pass the doctor's test or not. And then, yeah, I was still preparing for the whole thing, and then later on, I got the notification that because of me saying that, yeah, it didn't work out. I didn't have to say it. I didn't need to say it. Yeah, I was so devastated, because at that point I already gave up my apartment in the city where I was living. I couldn't continue living there anymore. I was kind of stuck. It was such a bad timing. I already paid the security deposit for the new apartment. And the old apartment was already gone, kind of like the deadline of getting out of there was like very soon after. So it was really a difficult situation, and that's why I ended up moving to a completely different city. So yeah, and got a different job and all that. No, I don't think it's discrimination. It's just in a job where you use your body and you're stuck in a plane and stuff like that, and it is quite exhausting, I guess, because you also have to adjust to different time zones all the time. They maybe think that someone with fibromyalgia isn't fit for it, even though I said that I can deal with it. I just wanted to be honest about it. I was hoping that they would not care about it, but they did. Yeah, I think it's a physically very taxing job, but I do think that I would have been able to handle it. It makes sense. Like, I understand that they only want the most healthy people. You shouldn't have been so honest. Yeah, my mom said the same, but I was just so worried. I didn't know like what kind of blood test they would do, and I think if you test specifically for these things, then you would have seen it in my blood. But it was just a basic blood test. But how could I have known? I needed to make sure. Because if they would have found it and I didn't say it, because they were also asking what kind of medications do you take. And if I don't say that I take what I do take, then I am hiding something, and that's not good either. I was just too honest. Yeah, I was just too fucking honest. I mean, for me, of course, the most ideal thing is to not work at all. It's the most comfortable thing. But I don't know, for the flight attendant job, I wouldn't mind working a little bit. Let's become Nito! Yeah.